Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Book Notification Podcast, your go-to source for this week's new book releases. Today, we're looking at the week of March 31st to April 6th. There are over 500 new books being released this week, including new releases by J.A. Jance and David J. Gatward. But there is no way that we could cover them all. Visit booknotification.com to explore the full list of this week's new books. You can also follow your favorite authors so you'll be the first to know when their next book is available. As always, we have 10 books to highlight releasing this week with a little something for everybody. Let's get into it. The Needle is the first book in the Joe Reacher thriller series by Dan Ames. The series, written with the permission of Lee Child, follows Reacher's brother, Joe. He followed the money. It led to murder. It is 1989. Joe Reacher is asked to investigate the brutal murder of a Treasury agent. What begins as a routine investigation soon unravels into something far more dangerous, because the trail of secrets leads straight into Joe's own past. As Reacher digs deeper, he discovers a web of deception, betrayal, and murder. Packed with action, suspense, and relentless twists, The Needle will keep you hooked until the shocking finale you'll never see coming. Check out The Needle on March 31st. Violets Are Blue is the latest addictive psychological thriller by Miranda Rijks. Her perfect home, her perfect man. How wrong can she be? After a bitter divorce, criminal solicitor Layla moves to idyllic Violet Lane, where she quickly falls for Max, her charming, piano-playing neighbor. They begin a wildly passionate affair, and Layla feels she is really starting to live again. But the tranquility of this close-knit community is shattered when Jackie, a young mother from across the street, goes missing. Her husband is the chief suspect, and Layla agrees to act as his lawyer. As she investigates Jackie's disappearance, Layla discovers that this quiet street hides deadly secrets, and someone is watching her every move. Anonymous threats pull her ever deeper into a twisted web of deception. Meanwhile, her intense relationship with Max is starting to feel like a runaway train, and Layla begins to wonder if her gorgeous new man may have hidden a dark side. She desperately needs to uncover the truth, and when she does, Layla realizes that she's putting herself in terrible danger, that she may lose everything, including her life. Violets Are Blue will be delivered on April 6th. New York Times best-selling author Lori Foster begins the Family Ties series with Let Me Be the One. She's more than the girl next door. She's the one who got away. When Callie McCallahan left Hoker, Kentucky, she thought it was for good. Her parents moved the family away to pursue financial success. Since then, she's had some bumps in the road. Most recently, the humiliation of a failed engagement. When she inherits her uncle's farm in her old neighborhood, it's the perfect do-over. With her social media skills, she'll attract a whole new following and restart her career. The only thing is, she knows nothing about farming. For Tanner Patrick, Callie was the one that got away. He crushed on her in high school, but she barely knew he existed. 10 years later, she's back, and now she lives next door. Tanner keeps his head down and focuses on his family's tree farm, but when he sees that Callie is in way over her head and looking pretty down to earth and happy, Tanner finds her impossible to ignore. When Callie stumbles through the woods and encounters her sexy chainsaw-wielding neighbor, Callie definitely notices Tanner. Could this be the do-over each of them didn't know they needed? Let Me Be the One for you on April 1st. In Good Company by Kat Singleton is the first in an all-new series set at an exclusive country club in the Hamptons. Callahan Hastings is relentless when it comes to getting what he wants, and what he wants is her to be his private chef in the Hamptons for the summer. Her dream job is served to her on a silver platter by one of the wealthiest members of Pembroke Hills Country Club. The only catch? He's her ex-boyfriend's older brother with a reputation for being as charming as he is cunning. But Cal doesn't take no for an answer. He draws you in with flirty smiles and extravagant promises. She should have seen him coming, but she didn't. She should have stayed away, but she couldn't. His playful touches and burning gaze have ignited a fire in her. The more she resists, the more irresistible he becomes. She's always known there's an expiration date on the job, an expiration date on them. But leaving isn't going to be easy with Cal on his knees, begging her to stay. Find yourself in good company on April 3rd. Flight of the Sparrow is the first in a new space pirate adventure by Fallon DeMornay. Nema may have been born a rimrat, a hard-scrabble kid from the far reaches of the galaxy, but now that she's a well-respected cadet at the prestigious STARS Military Academy, she's put her past behind her. Or so she thinks. Until her future is obliterated by the return of her infamous space pirate grandmother, who abandoned her at a barren outpost 15 years ago and is accused of setting off a bomb at the Millennial Summit for United Planetary Nation leaders. When her connection to Captain Indira Lavaz Roscoe is exposed by an anonymous source, Nema is expelled from STARS. Devastated by the loss of all that she's worked for, she still doesn't quite believe the woman who has always been the voice of refugees across the galaxy, bestowing the fruits of her heists upon the poor, is actually a killer. But when a member of her grandmother's old crew tracks Nema down and delivers the news that Ro was set up, Nema must make a choice. The only way to regain what she's lost is to prove Ro's innocence, and they can't do that if she's dead. The plan is simple and insane. Nema has 3 days to band together a motley crew of geriatric women, plus a notorious thief, steal her grandmother's ship back, elude the powerful Siga, and cross the void to save Ro before she's executed for intergalactic terrorism. Otherwise, her dreams and the last surviving member of her family will be lost forever. Should be easy work for a former rimrat, or it would be if Nema wasn't terrified to the bone of the void. Take Flight of the Sparrow on April 1st. Finding Home is a new standalone romance in the Bluestone Lake series by Jenn McMahon. Blair Andrews has spent the better part of her adulthood playing trophy wife to her politician husband in San Francisco. All she knows is her pampered, polished, perfect life, until it all comes crashing down around her. After hiding out in her sister's spare bedroom for months to avoid pitying looks on the street, she decides it's time to escape city life and learn to stand on her own. On a whim, Blair buys a tiny home in a small Wyoming town where she is certain her new neighbor, Griffin Barlow, can't stand her. He owns the local bar, is constantly covered in dirt from working on his family's ranch, and never smiles. Is he grumpy because she infiltrated his privacy when she moved onto the once quiet street? Or is there more to it than that? Blair has sworn off relationships, leaving the city behind to start fresh and find her independence. But in Bluestone Lakes, Wyoming, she's finding more than that. Maybe she's finding home. Find Finding Home at your home on April 4th. The New York Times bestselling author of The Writing Retreat, Julia Bartz, returns with a white-knuckled locked room thriller titled The Last Session. When a catatonic woman shows up at the psychiatric unit, social worker Thea swears she knows her from somewhere. She's shocked to discover the patient holds a link to a traumatic time in her past. Upon regaining lucidity, the patient claims she can't remember the horrific recent events that caused her brain to shut down. Thea's at a loss, especially when the patient is ripped away from her as suddenly as she appeared. Determined to find her, Thea follows a trail of clues to a remote center in southwestern New Mexico, where a charismatic couple holds a controversial monthly retreat to uncover attendees' romantic and sexual issues. Forced to participate in increasingly intimate exercises, Thea finds herself inching closer, not only to her missing patient, but also to tantalizing answers about her harrowing past. However, time is running out, and if she stays for the last session, she too might lose her mind, or worse. Take the last session on April 1st. The Escape to Nettleford Cozy Romance series by Sarah Hope continues with Roses and Romance at Ruby's Restaurant. After years of building her dream and pouring her heart into her restaurant, Ruby Reynolds never thought she'd still be single. Between managing her bustling restaurant and taking care of her dad, who has come to stay, romance is now the last thing on Ruby's mind. But when a cute stranger walks into her restaurant, she can't help but feel a spark of attraction. As she navigates through the quirky and lovable community of Nettleford, Ruby finds herself torn between following her heart and keeping up with her busy life. Find your Roses and Romance at Ruby's Restaurant on April 5th. The People Next Door is a tense psychological suspense novel packed full of family secrets by Kate Braithwaite. How well do you really know your neighbors? Jenn Silver has just moved to an affluent suburb in Pennsylvania with her partner, Dan, and their daughter. It's a picture-perfect neighborhood where residents hang out on each other's patios, sipping margaritas on warm summer nights. Jenn and her family blend effortlessly into the close-knit community. But Jenn isn't who they think she is. 20 years ago, Jenn's sister vanished without a trace. She spent her life chasing the truth, and she didn't choose this community for its safety or its excellent schools. Jenn moved here for answers. She knows the truth is here, but as Jenn pieces together the events of 20 years ago, someone is determined to keep the facts from coming to light. But secrets never stay hidden forever, and the most dangerous truths lie close to home. Meet The People Next Door on April 2nd. Finally, we have #1 New York Times bestselling author Abby Jimenez's Say You'll Remember Me, a playful yet deeply emotional romance where one date is all it takes for two people to know they're perfect for each other, until one of them moves 2,000 miles away the next day. There's no such thing as a perfect guy, but Xavier Rush comes disastrously close. A gorgeous veterinarian giving Greek god vibes, all while cuddling a tiny kitten? Immediate yes. That is until Xavier opens his mouth and proves that even sculpted gods can say the absolute wrong thing. Like, really wrong. Of course, there's nothing Samantha loves more than proving an asshole wrong, unless, of course, he can admit he made a mistake. But after one incredible and seemingly endless date, Samantha is forced to admit the truth, that her family is in a crisis and any kind of relationship would be impossible. Samantha begs Xavier to forget her, to remember their night together as a perfect moment, as crushing as that may be. Only no amount of distance or time is enough to forget what's between them. And the only thing better than one single perfect memory is to make a life, and even a love, worth remembering. Say You'll Remember Me will be released on April 1st. That's our 10 books for this week. Until next time, you can check out booknotification.com. Book Notification offers an easy way to track your reading lists, follow your favorite authors, and never miss a new release. Our website is completely free to use, and it's packed with features to make your reading life easier. You can follow your favorite authors and get notified whenever they release new books. We send out an email every Tuesday with a list of fresh releases from the authors you love, but that's not all. You can track your reading progress, mark books as read, rate and review them, and even import your data from Goodreads, Calibre, Libby, and more. Want to discover something new? Check out Reader's Roulette for book recommendations, or use our personalized book release calendar to stay up to date with the latest titles. You can even tag books with custom labels, just like on Goodreads shelves, and get tailored recommendations for what to read next based on your current book. Whether you're looking for books in publication or want to see them listed in chronological order, we've got it covered. Plus, all of our authors are audited by real people, so you know the information is accurate. So why not give it a try and join the thousands of readers already using our site to stay on top of their reading game? Thank you for listening, and I'll be back next week with another 10 books.